Good evening, this is Mike Harmon from the fields at Southern Virginia University, where the Knights will take on the Virginia Wesleyan College Marlins. The Knights are coming off a defeat at Salisbury, but everybody's losing to Salisbury as they're the new number one team in Division III. Tonight, I have a surprise. I am joined by someone, and I will let him introduce himself, and the broadcast will be much better for him.
This is Jamie Kane broadcasting along coach here. I'm a former player for Southern Virginia University Lacrosse and Southern Virginia University football. Just happy to be here tonight, and go Knights.
All right, we're glad to have Jamie here, and he will lend a lot to the broadcast. As most of you know, me doing it by myself was not the most ideal situation. Tonight, the starting lineups. First for the Marlins from Virginia Wesleyan. Number 3, Duncan Haight. Number 4, Sean Galloway. Number 8, Corey Hillard. Number 10, Matt Baldwin. Number 13, Tyler Kahn. Number 21, Ben Fletcher. Number 27, Josh Currier. Number 28, Steven Solitz. Number 29, Evan Merrill. And number 40, John Roth. The one that the Knights will really have to take into consideration and mark him closely is going to be Currier, as he comes into the game with 40 goals in 9 games. Virginia Wesleyan comes into this game at 6-3. The Knights come in at 5-5. Would you like to go ahead and give us the starting lineup for the Knights?
Would love to. The Knights starting lineup is number 4, Greg Gowdy. Number 6, Dean Anderson. Number 7, Spencer Tunick. Number 11, Siren Gurix. Number 12, Logan Lund. Number 16, Zach Denneman. Number 22, Casey Rich. Number 36, Derek Marks. Number 40, Colin Maxfield. And number 45, Ian Arev.
All right, and again, the Knights coming in at 5-5. They are in 5th place in the Capital Athletic Conference. They've played 5 games in the Capital Athletic Conference so far, most of anybody that we have. It's a anomaly of the scheduling so far, but we have Salisbury at 3-0 and York at 3-0 also, which is tied for 4th in the Division III standings. So it's a great test right now for the Knights to get back on the winning track after playing Salisbury. They learned a lot from playing Salisbury. It's a growing time when you play someone that's ranked. At that time, they were ranked number 2 in the nation. Now they're ranked, again, number 1. So it's good to see the Knights being able to come out and have a great game, especially against some ranked opponents. Tonight's big deal, again, is going to be in goal. Arvey against the number 27 of Virginia Wesleyan, Josh Curry. Curry has, again, scored 40 goals. The number 1 goal scorer for the Knights, will keep an eye on him, has been Casey Rich. He's come back and after some teams have shut him down early in the semester, has come on a great goal-scoring streak. Getting ready for the face-off. We'll have Logan Lund in the circle for the Knights, trying to find the number of the Virginia Wesleyan Marlin. Is number 3, Duncan Haight. Wesleyan wins the face-off and proceeds to throw the ball away. Turnover for the Knights now. And this is going to be a big key for the Knights, is how long can they keep possession of the ball on their offensive end and keep the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins off of Arvey in goal. Ground ball picked up by the Knights. Well, still on the ground and finally picked up by the Knights. Number 30, Peyton Kimber in. And again, some of the fabulous freshmen that we talked about is Kimber, Lund, Danneman, and Tunick. Well, Jamie, you played lacrosse here. What's the biggest difference you've seen from the teams that you were on to the teams we got today?
I think the biggest difference from the team that I was on, we were a startup team. This team's been around for a while. They have a pretty experienced coaching staff with Coach Lamb now. And the team, they have depth. When I was here, every position was lucky if they had a backup. And now every position has multiple backups. We can see that. We can see they work better as a team. They're stricter with their work ethic. I just think there's a lot going on for them, and this is a team that that they know where they want to be and they know what they want to do. All right? Those are just things that I see are definitely a huge difference for this Knights lacrosse team.
Well, and if you talk to Coach Lamb, you talked about the depth. He still wants to bring in 2 or 3 more lines to make sure that depth is up there where the Salisbury Seagulls are and the York and Frostburg teams that they've battled.
We see that number 27, Josh Courier, taking the shot. 7, number 45, Ian, RF.
Yeah, Arvey did a great job
Is it Arvey?
on the save. Arvey.
Arvey. Excuse me, Arvey. If his parents are listening, I apologize.
Mark's getting caught up there in someone's stick. Ball being settled down now to number 27, Anthony Good, a sophomore that we talked about a lot last year and has contributed more on the playmaking end and not the goal-scoring end for the team this year. Good's a big, strong young man. Being double-teamed now. Stick check, ball's out on the ground. And we're going to have an offsides. Nope. It's going to remain with Wesleyan. Quick start by Wesleyan. Looking to test RV. And because of that quick start, looks like they're going to throw the ball away. Turnover for the Knights. Both teams look to be kind of rattled right now. Maybe a lot of adrenaline flowing. About 5 minutes into the game, we should see a little bit more of free-flowing attack.
Well, we see that both the teams have something to prove. Statistically, schedule-wise. Southern Virginia wants to break. They don't want to break even. They don't want to go 500 for this season. They want to have a winning record, which something Southern Virginia University, I believe, has never had in lacrosse, is a winning record.
Ball being settled down by the Marlins. Number 14 on the attack. Bennett with the ball being pushed out by Ryan Larson, one of the better defenders for the Knights. Ball's in the stick of Courier again. That's the one person that the Marlins want to have attack, and the Knights want to keep him away. Shot on goal. Backed up by the Marlins. Matt Baldwin will start for the Marlins. Looking for Courier as he crossed the middle. And and that was a dangerous time for the Knights there. You get Courier right there within about 7 yards of the goal. Arvey's getting tested soon, early and often here tonight.
Nice check by number 4, Greg Gowdy.
Gowdy's another player that was on the team last year that really learned a lot and grew a lot from last year to this year on the defense.
And one of the starters, John Roth. No.
Ball on the ground. Picked up by the Knights, and that was a great defensive transition by the Knights. We've worried about that in the earlier part of the year. They were getting beat on some offensive transition situations. Defensively, we were able to get back on that and stop the Marlins' break. There's one of the freshmen, Tunick. He likes to play from behind the goal. Off into the stick of Rich. And we've seen a lot of times where they want to clear a side out for Rich and let him go one-on-one. He likes to come to the middle, spin back to the outside, and lay the shot in low against the opposing goalkeepers. Danneman, another one of the freshmen, being checked. Off pass. Ball scooped up ahead. And there we see one of our favorite professors, Fran McDonald, taking in the game tonight. A conference with the referees. Don't know what that conference was about. But whatever it is, they're back again. Live action. First quarter Each team has 1 shot on goal and 1 shot each. And the pressure defense that the Knights putting on the Marlins is really causing some passing errors so far in this game. Great check by number 6, Dean Anderson. And maybe a little bit too much of a great check as the ball remains with the Marlins. And Anderson is off now with a 30-second pushing penalty. The Knights will be a man down for the next 30 seconds. And this is where the Knights really haven't been able to kill the penalties as well as Coach Lamb would like. Oh, a high shot on goal. I don't think we can call that a shot on goal there.
That was a nice pass. That's what.
Pass to the back fence.
Oh, nice
Courier.
fake out.
And Courier.
Courier with the goal. And that's what you're talking about, Coach. Exactly. They're trying to get him the ball, give him as much time as possible. That was a nice, clean shot to the goal, and he got it.
Yeah, and he has a laser for a shot that was just right past the right ear of Ian Arvey. So with 8:50 to go in the first quarter, the Marlins lead the Knights 1-0. Back into the face-off circle, we have number 3, Duncan Haight of the Marlins, and number 12, Logan Lund for the Knights. And it's imperative that Lund wins the majority of these face-offs, because when the Knights have won the face-offs, they've done great on the offensive end. Lund has the chance, and unfortunately just can't pick up the ball. Quick shot on goal. Great save by Arvey. Little low skip shot from the Marlins, and Arvey was there for the save. Peyton Kimber with the ball. To Casey Rich. Tunick tries to set a pick for him. Rich with the fake pass. And now the Knights are going to try to create as much room for Rich as possible. To Good. To Kimber. To Daneman. Great, though, defensive slides by the Marlins. They were a little bit behind to start off with and able to come back. It's good to see the Knights, though, be very patient, Jamie. Peyton Kimber. Off the goalie. Quick counterattack by the Marlins. The Knights need to get back in a defensive posture now. And again, another great job. But there's that man. Tried to skip it in past Arvey. And we're going to see Courier probably get 100 shots off tonight.
I'm sure.
I know all the shots aren't counted as shots or shots on goals, but he's got a lot of attempts so far. We see the Knights defense right in their man.
Josh Courier.
And they
shot taken, shot made.
Looks like that number 8, Corey Hillard. And now we saw 3 people riding Courier. That may be some of the plans that the Marlins have, is get Courier off early, then draw the double team to him, and he great pass off to Hillard.
It was a beautiful shot. Clear shot.
And again, one of those low skip shots that really take a lot of reflexive action by the goalkeepers to try to get their stick down to stop it. Well, here's Lund back in the face-off circle, and he wins the face-off. And we've seen this several times where he's gone straight down the middle of the field.
Number 7, Spencer Tunick, the pass.
And you'll see a lot of the combination of Daneman, Tunick, and number 30, Peyton Kimber with Casey Rich out there. And those four have just done a great job creating opportunities not only for themselves but for each other this whole season. Just waiting for that first goal to go in for the Knights, and maybe that will break the ice and open up the scoring gates.
That's what we'd like to see. We just saw Casey Rich with a shot and a miss.
Daneman with the ball.
You know, what we don't want to see from the Knights is what I think we've seen in the past is they seem to get excited when they're down by 2 goals. I mean, it's early in the game. Oh. Shot high.
Yeah, it was a great move by Tunick. It looked like his stick got hit just as he was getting ready to release the ball. Knights were able to back it up, though. Yeah, the Knights don't want to give the other team too much of an advantage.
Right. And at the same time, they have to remember we're still early in the game. They're down 2. And it's not that big of a deal. They don't want to forget where they're at. They don't want to forget their assignments. Oh, shot made by number 22, Casey Rich.
And Rich went by the left ear of the goalie. Looks like it's number 4, Galloway. And just as we're talking about, don't want to forget where they're at. They're at their home field. You saw Casey Rich point over to the fans after making that goal.
Give him a shout out.
So maybe that'll break the ice now for the Knights, and we'll see the floodgates open on the offensive end, and they can clamp down on the defensive end.
I just see another Logan Lund win a face-off.
And Logan has been the person in the circle for the majority of the face-offs all season long, kind of the face-off specialist for the Knights. And the Knights gain control off the face-off. Want to capitalize on the momentum that Rich gave them with that shot. Ball back into Rich's hands.
Rich is at 13 goals for this season. See number 16, Zach Daneman, pass to Rich. Pass to number 27, Anthony Good.
Brady Cook in now. And we've seen Cook be a great playmaker. And again, Rich is able to bounce it past Galloway for his second goal of the night.
Just good ball movement. Good movement by the players. Good ball movement. Just great teamwork on that play.
And that gives Rich 33 goals on the season, trying to catch up to Courier in this one game. Lund back in the face-off circle, and every time the Knights have won the face-off, something good's happened. That's why Logan is in there. Plays it back behind him. Face-off won by the Knights. See Mike Anderson trying to control the ball, getting pushed and checked out there. Ball still on the ground. Picked up by Daneman. Daneman looks to settle it down. And it looks like the Marlins are having problems with their footing, especially back behind the goal. I don't know if they brought different cleats or longer cleats to screw in, but if they're going to continue to slip down, that's going to give the Knights a decided advantage.
Well, we know we got new turf, so once again, excellent ball movement by the Knights. Number 24, Cameron
got stick checked just at the last second.
Defense of the Marlins coming through.
Great job by the Knights to slow down the Marlins attack. With the score tied, don't want to give up anything cheap and easy. And I gave him the commentator's curse. As we see Sadu score at the 3:25 mark now in the first quarter. And so this is what we kind of were hoping to see. Not that the Knights would be down, but some wide open offense by both teams. The first 5 minutes of the first quarter kind of feeling out and a lot of adrenaline, but now it looks like both teams have settled down. And it may come down to and be one of those games where whoever has the ball in the last few seconds wins the game.
Well, and we've seen that the past couple of games with the Knights where it really has come down. Whoever has the ball last and whoever takes a shot wins the game. That's been their last couple of games, so we'll have to see about this one, see if it's the same turnout.
Yeah, and while that's exciting for the fans and for the players, I know the coaching staff would rather be up by 5 or 6 goals at the very end.
Absolutely. We see that. The Marlins, number 13 for the Marlins, Tyler Kahn with an excellent goal.
Yeah, and you don't see a lot of long stick goals.
No, you don't.
So just like that, the Marlins are able to quick attack the Knights and gain the 2-goal advantage that they enjoyed earlier in this first quarter. But still, 3 quarters plus to go. A lot of time left in this game. I don't think the Knights are really concerned as much. They held with the Seagulls from Salisbury for about a quarter, maybe a little bit into the second quarter. So that experience may be buoying them up a little bit. Again, Kahn on the attack again. Stick checked. Wesleyan able to pick up the ball.
Kahn again. Kahn with another goal.
Oh, and how did he get that shot off that pole? Usually you see that kind of shot with a short stick, the little underhand with that long pole.
Over-under.
Wow, that was just an amazing shot, and there was nothing that RV could do.
That's 2 goals for Kahn within 2 minutes, it seems about.
Oh, well, more like 30 seconds, I think. We'll check the...
We see that there's an assist by Josh Courier. And that's what they have to watch out for. Like you said, Coach, they might be paying so much attention to Josh Courier that they forget about the players around them. They forget about the guys like Tyler Kahn. And so that's what the Knights have to watch out for, not making sure their focus is on the team and not that just their seems as their star player.
Yeah, Kahn scored that goal. The difference between the 2 goals at 21 seconds.
21 seconds.
2 goals in 21 seconds.
I think it's that a...
Now, we've seen the Knights be able to do that too.
Right.
So, but the Marlins do have a 3-goal lead now. 2:25 left to go in the first quarter.
See number 17, Trenton Graham for the Marlins in. Number 27, Josh Courier with a shot and a miss.
Yeah, Arvey was there to get that one. And looks like the Knights, pretty good defense. One-on-one defense with Courier, but they funneled him just to the spot where there was only one angle that he could shoot at, and Arvey was able to cut that off. Now you can see the Marlins trying to put some pressure defense on the Knights, not let them clear. And in past years, that's been a problem that the Knights have had, but this year, much better on their clears.
Almost lost the ball, number 25 for SVU. Sean Tikala. How do you say
Sean
that,
Tikala.
Tikala?
Tikala.
Tikala.
And Coach Lamb calls a timeout. So 1:43 left to go in the first quarter. All of a sudden, the action is picked up. The first 5 minutes, kind of slow, filling out process. But we've seen 7 goals in the last about 8 minutes. Goal scores for the Marlins. We see Courier with 1, Sadu with 1, Kahn with 2, and Hilliard with 1. And for the Knights, Casey Rich has both of those goals. So what do you think Coach Lamb called a timeout for this early in this first half?
I think it's just to remind their players that, hey, we're here to play. We got to calm down. Don't get frustrated. Southern Virginia, like I said, when I played lacrosse here, our thing was we wanted to start the program at SVU. We wanted to be the year that SVU was recognized for lacrosse. Unfortunately, with my teammates, we had a great group of guys, but it just didn't happen for us. And I think for these guys, they are establishing that. And I think the coach is reminding them that they can be that group. They just need to slow down, take time to shots, make sure they're watching their defensive. And just be careful with what they're doing. Coach Lane is a very passionate man, and he knows how to motivate his players with keeping them headstrong and focused.
Well, they have set several records so far this year. They've got the first conference win in the Capital Athletic Conference that any of the lacrosse teams have ever got. They have won the most in a season right now, more than any other lacrosse team has, and they've been able to set some records offensively also. So a lot of firsts with this team, but we do have to go back and recognize those that came before to kind of lay the foundation. Everybody wants to jump on the winning side, right? But you have to look back at how the program first started and give props to those young men and young women that started out programs and didn't get the recognition that some of the teams now who are doing well receive.
Absolutely. And we have to look at guys like Coach Mahaffey, Coach McCurdy, those guys that we hear early on. Those are my two coaches, and I appreciate them. They were the ones that really got these programs started. And because of them, because of those foundations they laid, we have teams like this. And so we're back to the game now. Number 27, Josh Courier takes a shot and makes it. What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, low to high. What a beautiful shot. Goes low to high, and there's just not a lot you can do, especially with that type of velocity.
No, that wind up, that release, that was beautiful.
So what do you do? Do you go double team him? We saw that when you go double team, he finds someone else to lay the ball off to, or do you just keep on trying to cover him man to man?
I think it depends on the circumstance you're at. I think it depends where he's at. Obviously, he wasn't anywhere really near the crease or near the goal. I mean, that was a shot that was taken from pretty far back, and so you don't want to double team far back into the field. Maybe when it gets closer to the crease, you want to do that, but I just think it comes down to better man-on-man defense, really.
Well, he looks like he's a shifty player. We've seen him shake a couple of defenders out there, so may have to look at finding a new man to put on him, or maybe even find a long stick that you can put on him.
I would agree with that completely. Who do we got here? Number
Peyton
30.
Kimber. Yeah. Peyton.
Using the X.
Strong young man. And we talked earlier in listening to you saying that, where you served your mission from. And that's one of the unique things here at Southern Virginia is you get these great freshmen coming in, and we've listed a couple of them and highlighted a couple of them so far on the lacrosse team. But next year, they're going to be gone. They're going on missions.
Absolutely.
And we'll see a new crop come in. Hopefully what Coach Lamb wants to get to is those people that leave, the return missionaries, come back, and so you always have this pipeline. But for the first few years, this is just one of those, we're good, but we got to start over again.
Oh, absolutely. And that was very apparent in my season. I think, including me, 5 of our teammates all went on missions after the season ended, and all of us just got back quite recently. And so, and you see that with schools like BYU.
Cook,
nice save.
Shot. Yeah, Galloway with a great save there.
But you see that with teams like BYU, a little bit with University of Utah, where a lot of the guys are leaving and coming back, and there is a certain way to do that with a beautiful save on number 45.
Yeah, Arvey did a great job there. Last few seconds. So at the end of one, we have the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan 6, your Southern Virginia Knights 2. Stay with us, and we'll take a little break in between the quarters. Well, welcome back to the fields at Southern Virginia, where we have the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan College against the Knights of Southern Virginia. The Knights with a 4-goal deficit now. Some work to do in this second quarter to try to get out of it. In the face-off circle again, we have Logan Lund for the Knights and Duncan Haight for the Marlins. You know, I know there's no such thing as a 4-point goal, but we want to make sure that the Knights do get on some kind of roll. You don't want to go into halftime down by 4.
The Knights coming away with the ball.
And great start.
Absolutely. You can see a little bit of fire.
Danneman trying to go through 3 people.
He still got the ball. Flag out by the ref. Still a fight for the ball between the Marlins and the Knights. I just want to, real fast, I have a friend, Sophie's watching right now. Sophie, I'm glad to hear that you're watching. I hope you're enjoying the game. Sophie was a little girl I was friends with on my mission, so I just wanted to give her a shout out.
It looks like we're going to have maybe a man-up situation here for the Knights. And a great way to start out the second quarter, win the face-off, and then get a man-up situation. We'll wait for the referees to let our stats personnel know what's going on. Once they know, we'll know.
I just say how impressed I am really by Logan Lund and his face-offs.
Oh, he's been doing that all season long. Coach Lamb has put him in there, threw him to the fire as a freshman. Go do it, son, and he's just done a fabulous job. We see the coach from Virginia Wesleyan there questioning the referee. What do you mean? I don't think that was a foul. And I can understand that being a coach for a long time, that my players never fouled anybody. So now the conversation is still going on. Trying to sort things out. Well, it might be 2. We might have 2 out right now. Still trying to wait for clarification.
Number 28, Steven Soltes doesn't seem too pleased with whatever the call is.
Yeah, 28 and 3. Duncan Haight. So the Marlins are down 2 men now. Great opportunity for the Knights to start to eat into this lead.
Hopefully they can take advantage of it. They have 30 seconds, 1 for pushing. Still waiting on what the other call was. Probably the same.
Stoltz for slashing, so that's a minute.
Stoltz
and Danneman with a laser shot from about 15 yards out, and he's a very excitable young man. So Danneman gets on the score sheet now with his first.
Pumping his teammates up. Excited to be out there. That's what it's all about. You got to remember, you got to have fun. That was one thing when I played. We would get so frustrated and upset with ourselves that we lost or whatever it may be, that we were down. You got to remember, you do this because you love this sport, because you love your teammates, because you want to go out there and have fun. So they got to have fun. They got to enjoy themselves. Hopefully, we have Logan Lund out there once again with the face-off.
Yeah, I have Zach Danneman in one of my classes, and very good personality, always smiling, always makes the class very interesting.
Danneman with a beautiful stick check. Unfortunately, Wesleyan came back with it.
Wesleyan slowing the ball down now.
Number 17, Trenton Gam, back on the field.
And for Zach Danneman, that was his 25th goal for the season.
Shot high. We see Josh Courier once again with a nice move behind the X. Fight for the ball.
Knights need to win the ground ball here. Capitalize on that momentum that they had just a
interception by number 27, Josh Courier. But the Knights once again receive the ball. Goalie number 45, Ian Arve, has the ball.
Courier with a great athletic play to jump and try to get his stick on the ball. Unfortunately for the Knights, It popped out.
They were very fortunate to get that ball back. But that was a great play on the ball by Josh Courier. The Knights coming back with some momentum.
Cook, who's done a fabulous job of a playmaker at the point of attack for the Knights so far this season. Gets the ball over to Rich. Rich is going back behind the goal where he loves to operate from. Tried to force it into Tunic. Fortunately, too many sticks there in the way. Loose ball.
Nice move by Casey Rich.
Oh, and almost a great pickup.
The Knights have to win these ground balls.
Let's see if the Knights can slow down this attack that the Marlins are putting on. Maybe cause a turnover and get a quick counterattack. See the ball there with number 17, Trenton Graham. Graham plays the ball ahead.
Once again, Josh Courier behind the X. It seems they put him in the same place where Casey Rich is at. Same kind of skill set. Likes to play behind the goal a little bit.
Yeah.
We see those low ground shots the same that Casey Rich has, and we see a push in the back.
Well, and that's kind of like one of those that you saw him stop short on purpose. There was nothing that you could do about that, and fortunately the referee was standing about 3 feet in front of it so he couldn't see it. The Knights defense is really settled down. The only one that they've had trouble containing has been Courier, but so far this year everybody's had trouble containing Courier.
Flag by the ref.
Yeah, Gowdy's going to get called.
Number 10 with the ball for the Marlins. Another flag by the ref. Nice save by number 45, Ian Arve. We're going to see what these penalties are called for.
Oh, and I see 3 yellow flags out there. I think there's
there's a 4th one.
Oh, my goodness. He threw it again.
Threw it again.
So someone must have said something. This is not good for the Knights. And again, when you have such a young team as the Knights, you got to learn when to not say anything. There's just times that you just shut your mouth. The referees are going to call what they call. Just move on to the next play.
And the thing is, I understand that. You know, we're 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. You know, I come from an Italian-Irish background, so everyone's got a kind of a mouthy kind of personality. I was one of the loudmouths on the field, but like you said, that comes down to doing what's best for your team. Sometimes you just got to shut your mouth and you got to play on. So
now the Knights lose 2 of their long poles in Gowdy and Maxfield. You see that. So we got major penalties going on with the Knights now. You got a 2-minute penalty for slashing, or a 1-minute penalty on Gowdy for slashing, and on Maxfield for slashing also. So the Knights down 2. 2 men. This is a great opportunity for the Marlins, but also if the Knights can stop them here, kill this penalty, what kind of momentum would that give them coming back into full strength?
To tell you the truth, I mean, it would just get the game rolling again. We see that we have another penalty also on Colin Maxfield for unsportsmanlike conduct within a minute. This is another great.
Oh, and it looks like the Knights may have killed this penalty. Here's the attack.
Oh.
Danneman going down not Danneman, I'm sorry, excuse me, 36 marks. I saw the 6. Ball's turned over, though, to the Marlins. Quick restart.
Looks like a timeout was called.
Yeah, it looks like Wesleyan may have called a timeout. So that's just one of the issues that have plagued the Knights this year is multiple fouls on one play, not only going a man down, but going down by 2 men. And I just can't fathom how hard that is to play 2 men down. There you can see Coach Lamb very animated on the sidelines. He wants his young men to play lacrosse the right way. He understands, like you said, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. Sometimes emotions do carry them in the wrong way, so to speak, right? Just they get over exuberant. But he and his staff doing a great job transforming these kids into great young men.
And that's one of the beautiful things about Southern Virginia University is that as important as athletics are here, there's nothing more important than transforming young men, young women to the adults that they need to be, to leader servants is what we say. And that's one of the reasons that Southern Virginia is so great. It's so appreciated here. So, and one of the reasons that we love our coaches, because they're more than just coaches here. They're role models, they're examples to us. They motivate us, and so we just appreciate them and all that they do. We see also that the Marlins coach seems to be a little bit animated.
Well, I think that's a requirement as a lacrosse coach, right? You have to be animated a little bit, especially some of the assistant coaches have to be very animated. I've watched some lacrosse on television, Duke, Virginia, John Hopkins, and there's always one coach that's just the one that's out there leading the way.
It's usually the strength and conditioning coach. That's usually who it is. But
well, we have seen Coach Varney, our strength and conditioning coach, on the sideline several times with the Knights. Not as animated as that, but it's great to see everybody getting involved, trying to help these young men succeed not only on the athletic field where they feel it's really important, but also succeed in every facet of their lives, whether it be academics, social, or spiritual.
Absolutely. All right, we're back to the game now. Number 27, Josh Courier has the ball. Fake pass. Another fake pass.
And Knights still down 2 men trying to kill this penalty off.
Josh Courier with a wind-up and a missed pass. That'll be the Knights' ball.
Again, just dodging another bullet here.
Absolutely.
Being 2 men down.
And we see how tight the Marlins play in the backfield in the X. That could be another big reason for the success, not loosening up on any facet of the field. Number 27, Josh Courier once again with a shot and another miss.
And it seems when Courier has hit his shots or come closer to the goal, has been on the move. When he's stationary, the Knights have been able to defend him really well. There's this ball loose in the crease. Arvey's able to pick it up. Again, the Knights dodge another bullet. Great penalty killing so far by the Knights, but also helped by some loose passing by the Marlins.
The goalie coming out of the goal there for a minute. Oh, nice shot and a nice save by Ian Arvey.
Looks like it kicked off the pipes there just a little bit. Danneman picks it up on the attack. He's got Rich to his right, Tunick to his left, plays it off to Tunick. Oh, man, and Galloway. What a great save. A 3-on-1, and he's able to make the save. And in the first quarter, we're talking all about offense. After about the 10-minute mark, now we're talking all about defense. The Knights are able to kill 2 penalties so far, and then that save against Tunick, just fabulous.
The Knights want to watch him. Tyler Kahn is back on the field. They want to watch him with Josh Courier. They seem to have a little bit of chemistry, seem to know what they're doing, what they want. Josh Courier with a miss with a catch. Ground ball. We're seeing good defense by number 11 for SVU.
Cook, great job shielding off. Went off one of the defenders for the Marlins. Turned the ball over to the Knights. There's Peyton Kimber taking the ball straight down the field. No one marking him. Kimber, a freshman, but a strong young man. 6'2", about 215. Or actually today in class he said he was 213. He keeps an eye on his weight.
Number 22, Casey Rich with the ball. Pass.
There's Danneman. Let's see if he can get the shot off.
Oh.
And it does. Looks like they're going to have a foul. Knights may be a man up. Looks like it's going to be a tripping foul. So the Knights go a man up, and now we've seen them kill a penalty. Let's see if their man up offense can create a goal and dig into this lead still that the Marlins are enjoying. believe it's going to be a 1-minute penalty. Knights have plenty of time to try to create a goal for themselves.
Nice fake pass number 3 for Southern Virginia University. Now back to Casey Rich, but he drops the ball on the pass. See if he can get the ground ball. And number 7 for Southern Virginia University.
Tunic's able to find it. You don't see Casey drop the ball very many times. Ball on the ground again. Picked up by number 32 of the Marlins, Justin Burke. Burke throws it way down the field. Out of bounds. Syrian Giroux, or as his friends call him, Kiwi, will start. And they say it went off the Knights, so now it's back to the Marlins. Courier coming around the crease. Fakes a pass. Finds number 17. Trenton Graham. Graham still with the ball.
See Josh Courier again. Another flag by the ref.
Oh, and
another goal by Josh Courier.
And a one-handed low skip shot. He's got such an imagination on his shots.
Well, you know, what's really impressing me about Josh is you see as a lacrosse player, a lot of times we either favor their right hand or their left hand. And with Josh, it doesn't seem that he doesn't have a favor. He's comfortable with both hands, which is a big up for any lacrosse player, for any men's lacrosse player. So,
well, he is a senior. We won't have to see him next year, and he's from out of Ontario. Great lacrosse up in Canada, and he's showing off all his skill set now. And now we got some questions. Both coaches going at the referees, and the goal is scored and good.
We see Logan Lund back on the face-off. We'll see if he can pull some of that Lund magic off again. You know, people don't appreciate the art of the face-off as much as I feel like they do.
And they've changed the rules. It used to be where they could kind of mash their stick down over the top of the ball and get it stuck in between the plastic on the stick. Now they've done away with that, and they see that's not allowed. So it's changed the face-off a lot.
Number 13, Tyler Kunn once again with the ball.
Ground balls. The Knights need to pick it up.
And I'm not sure if this is just me, Coach, but you could probably vouch. It doesn't seem like the Knights have won a ton of ground balls tonight.
No, tonight's not been a great night for ground balls or clears. We've seen a lot of trouble clearing. But again, early in the game, we're still in the second half or second quarter. Got a whole half to go. But the Marlins, I think, are causing a lot of that for the Knights.
Oh, absolutely.
Their defense is just a scramble type of defense. Is nothing really set that the Knights have seen before. Most teams are very defined in their attack and the way they play defense. The Marlins are just all over the place.
Absolutely. You'll see when a ground ball. Number 17 with a swing and a miss.
Yeah, right off the pipes.
But you'll see a lot of times when the ground ball comes, the Marlins will storm with another save by Ian Arve. The ball's up in the air. Number 28, number 14. And the Marlins come in with the ball again. To back what I was saying, you'll see a lot of times when the ball hits the ground, there's 2 or 3 defenders on the same ball, which is a lot of times, like you said, Coach, you don't see that at all very often.
Time of possession, I know they don't keep it in lacrosse, but so far in this quarter, the Marlins have had the possession of the ball in their offensive end much longer than the Knights have had, which ultimately leads to more chances on goal. And, you know, you can only save so many shots.
Oh, absolutely. And you see that in every sport, whether it be football, lacrosse, basketball, whatever it is, time of possession is key to winning games.
Casey Rich, great run down, and
Another
able to
goal.
skip it low and to the right past Galloway, cutting into that lead again.
The third goal for Casey Ridge tonight, which makes it how many on the season, Coach? Do we know?
I think that pulls them up to 35. No, 34. I was wishing.
Which is still an extremely impressive number for the season.
Great number so far for the season. 10 games, he's 34 goals, scoring about 3.5 goals a game. That's great. And there were several games that he was really shut out because drawing a lot of attention from the opposing defense. Lund trying to win this faceoff.
And we see that again with their Grace. Tyler Kunn with the ball once again for the Marlins. Nice footwork. He's really good with that long pole. Like you said, a lot of people aren't that shifty with a long pole like that.
Yeah, he's doing some things that you have to watch Syracuse or John Hopkins or Duke pull off.
Which is interesting. Oh, nice save by Ian Arve. It's interesting because Tyler Kunn is a midi. He's not an LSM or anything like that. He's just a plain midi. And so it's interesting to see them give him a longer pole and see him to go to work like that.
Knights on the counterattack. See Gowdy bring it all the way down. Lays it off to Danneman. Danneman takes the double team. Somebody's got to be open. Tried to find Tunick on the doorstep. Not able to connect on the pass. So
sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Time's just winding down now in this quarter. The Knights don't want to make a mistake now and give up any extra goals.
Oh, absolutely not. And we're seeing a lot of what you talked about. The Marlins defense is just swarming every time the ball is on their side of the field. You see Josh Curry with the wind. Oh, not Josh Curry, number 24. That is Joe
Couture. Backed up by the Marlins. And looks like we had an illegal screen. The ball's turned over to the Knights, and you don't see that called very often. And there's that pressure by the Marlins.
They've got to get these ground balls off.
Knights need to clear. Looks like they're able to do so.
They're having some nice ball movement now. Back to Danneman.
And it seems like there's just some spots on the field, and only the Marlins will know this, but there's some spots on the field that when a Knight gets there and they have the ball, it's an automatic double team. Peyton Kimber looking to make a move.
Once again, continued nice ball movement by the Knights.
Casey Rich with open shooting space.
Casey Rich with his 4th goal of the night.
Again, finds some room, able to put it to the right of Galloway. And without Rich, the Knights would be way behind now.
Oh, absolutely. The only other scorer would be Zach Danneman with 1 goal for the night.
So now, the Knights eating into that lead that the Marlins were enjoying. Brings it back to a 2-goal game. And with 2:30 left, it's going to be really important. Again, the Knights don't give up any more goals, but get some good shots off themselves.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that we need to see more of is probably some more assists on the offensive side of the ball. We just saw Ryan Larson with a beautiful assist to Casey Rich.
Derek Marks.
Another nice stick check by the Marlins, and the Marlins recover the ground ball once again.
Now you see the Knights trying to put some pressure and stop the clear by the Marlins. Let's see if they're as successful as the Marlins have been earlier in this game.
Ground ball. Southern Virginia comes in. Ball still on the ground. Marlins recover.
It's number 40, John Roth, that was able to cover up. Gets the ball into Courier's hands, and now everybody's on edge.
Josh Courier once again coming around. Another fake pass. That's those fake passes.
A lot of them. I haven't seen that many ever.
At least not in D3 lacrosse. You see that a lot in D1, like you said, with teams like Duke, Syracuse, those kinds of teams. Not a lot with D3 teams. It's a hard art to master.
Well, we don't know where he mastered that from. Did it come from Ontario with him, or did the coaches at Wesleyan teach him that? But he's very good at it. Great stick skills.
What I'm liking from the Knights, however, it doesn't seem like they're biting on it a ton. he's definitely good at it. He's definitely at the shiftiness of it. But the Knights don't seem to be biting. And once again, we've taken another timeout.
Yeah, Wesleyan calls timeout. They wanted to make sure that I'm sure that they get off a great shot in this last minute and 10 seconds. So with the timeout, we'll take a short break. Stay with us. And we're back at the fields from Southern Virginia University, where the Knights trail the Marlins 5-7. A minute and 10 left to go in the second quarter. The Marlins just called a timeout. Probably tried to set up some type of play to make sure they score in this last minute and 10. But that could make them susceptible to a offensive transition if the Knights can get the ball.
Oh, we see the Knights fighting for the ground ball. 2 Knights on the ground ball, two Marlins. And we see the ball still out.
Yeah, Rich just not able to keep it in bounds. See the Knights starting to match up. This last 50 seconds. Do not want to give up a goal going into halftime after they've come back from a 4-goal deficit.
Nice defense, not letting the clear out.
Oh, the ball's on the ground.
What a beautiful play by Danneman.
Danneman not going to goal.
Goal by Danneman.
Able to put it by Galloway. The last time we saw Danneman streaking down the middle of the field, he had Casey Rich on his right, Tunick on his left, laid it off to Tunick. Great save by Galloway. This time he took it himself.
That was a fantastic play. Like we said, the Knights are starting to close in on the clears. They didn't allow him to clear the ball out. Got a ground ball and made a beautiful play on that.
And this is what the Knights were hoping for, I'm sure, coming into the second quarter. Close the gap. Don't go down anymore. And if they can get tied up in this last 35 seconds, I'm sure Coach Lamb and his staff will be ecstatic.
Absolutely. That's what we want to see from our Knights. So we'll see what happens next. Logan Long wants to get on the face-off, and he gets the ball. Face-off violation.
Now, it'd be great to see the Knights, unless, and there's a timeout.
Probably by Coach Lamb with West Virginia.
Wanted to make sure in this last 29 seconds that they get a great shot off. So, with this timeout, we'll take a short break also. Well, we're back, and we'll see what type of play that Coach Lamb's drawn up for the Knights to try to get the tying goal going into halftime. I'm sure it has to do something with Rich and probably Danneman now, as he's scored his second goal of the game. See, Peyton Kimber is going to start with the ball. Kimber trying to get to the back of the goal. Reverses Fields.
Ball lost.
Yeah,
You
good
can't
job.
afford that.
Yeah, need to make sure you pick it up.
Down to 15 seconds for the Knights. At this point, they just need to take a shot for the goal.
Cook plays it off to Danneman. And
Goal by
Danneman's
Danneman.
able to get through the wickets. Through the wickets of Galloway, and that ties the score at 7 with 5 seconds left. Looked like a busted play. Fortunately for the Knights, able to find Danneman, and he's able to put it in between the legs of Galloway for a score.
That was a beautiful play. Absolutely. Coach Lamb did some excellent pep talking there on the timeout.
And if you ask him, I'm sure that's just how he drew it up.
I'm sure that's exactly how it was.
Now 5 seconds left in the half.
Craig
Lund,
won another face-off win.
stick check. And that's the half. Your Southern Virginia Knights tied up with the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan, and what a exciting first half it was. The Knights able to come back from a 4-goal deficit. Well, at halftime, we'll take a short break. Please join us for the second half, because I'm sure it'll be as exciting as the first. Welcome back to the fields at Southern Virginia University, where the Knights are tied up with the Marlins from Virginia Wesleyan. Before we get started, just a quick rundown of other games that are played today. The Knights Pittsburgh unfortunately came out on the short end, and the women's lacrosse team went to Christopher Newport University and lost there. The Knights men's lacrosse team trying to reverse that trend now, as we have Lund and Haight in the face-off circle ready to go. Oh, and they changed the face-off. It's Kahn, and Lund wins. And just a missed pass there over the head of Danneman. And the Knights had some success in pressing up on the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins late in the second quarter. Looks like they're going to try to continue that now in the third quarter.
Once again, Tyler Kahn back on the field with that long pole. Did he do the face-off with that?
He did the face-off with that.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, drop ball by number 8 for the Marlins. Another nice stick check by the Knights, number 4.
Gowdy's able to pick it up. Lays it ahead to Danneman. Danneman with a hard shot. Backed up by the Knights.
Casey Rich with the ball now.
And if the Knights can score here and take the lead, we can just say that momentum has swung completely around since about halfway through the second quarter.
Number 18, Ryan Larson. Ryan was one of those guys I played with back in the day. I think he's the only team I still have. Nice save by their goalie. Number 4, Galloway.
Oh, they changed goalies on us now.
Goalies. Number 30, Chris McTague, looks like.
Well, the goalie change, I'm sure, was prompted by the 5 goals that the Knights were able to score in that second quarter, as opposed to only 1 that Virginia Wesleyan was able to score.
Another flag out by a ref.
Yeah, looks like the Knights will be a man down here. Coming up. Kick save by Arvey. And that's got to hurt when you kick it off with your foot.
I remember it was my first year playing lacrosse at Southern Virginia, and it was actually my first game starting. And I took a ball to the back, which was never fun. That hurt like a son of a gun. And then the next game we went to Ferrum. I took a ball to the shin, and I was on the ground for a lot longer than I wanted to be on that one. But it never feels good.
So the Knights are down now a man, and we'll see if they can continue to kill penalties as they did in the first half.
We see that Josh Courier once again has the ball for the Marlins starting off. Nice ball movement by the Marlins.
And there's
what an
that
amazing
man.
shot.
Kahn again with that long pole is just doing everything for him right now.
I can't even, I don't even understand what's happening right now with that. I mean, he's a master at that. He treats the long pole like he would a short pole. The short, I mean, it just.
And he's only a freshman now, and from Ontario, the same as we see Courier. So something's going on up in Ontario, Canada.
Apparently Wesleyan knows where to pull him from.
Back in the face-off circle, we got Lund, and now it's back to Haight. As Wesleyan takes the 1-goal lead. Ground ball picked up by Danneman now.
Damn, nice ball movement.
Running through a lot of physicality out there by the Marlins.
Number 12, Logan Lund with the ball. Pass it off to Peyton.
And we haven't seen a lot from Peyton or from Tunick today, and they usually get into the goal-scoring column for the Knights with regularity. Brady Cook looking to make something happen for the Knights now.
Peyton Kimber back with the ball.
In the Bangeter. Bangeter lays it off now for Tunick. Knights are just looking to find some type of offensive rhythm. Fake pass by Tunick. He tells Courier, look, I can do it too. And there's
what a shot by Peyton Kimber.
About 18 yards away from the goal, found just some shooting space, was able to just wind up and rip it by the goalkeeper, Chris Mateague.
That was a beautiful shot.
And just as we were talking about him not being in the scoring column, Peyton Kimber is able to get into the scoring column for the Knights and bring them back to tied with the Marlins 8-8. Spencer Tunick with the assist.
We see Logan Long back on the face-off.
And Kahn's back in, I think, now for, it'd be 32. Justin Burke and the Marlins are sending a lot of people in for the face-off. And another long pole goal by number 21, Ben Fletcher, a defenseman. And somehow these long pole players are starting to just catch on fire for the Marlins.
I think it's super interesting how Wesleyan is using these guys, because you don't see this a ton. You'll see LSMs, quite a bit. SVU's got several of them, but it doesn't look like Wesleyan has any LSMs on their roster. It's like all middies and deep ball. So this is definitely interesting to see.
So Lund, it looks like Burke back in the face-off. And why not put Burke back in? They scored a goal within 10 seconds of the face-off.
Logan Lund won the face-off. Nice ground ball. Shot low, bounced over the goal.
And he was under a lot of duress from Burke. Burke was slapping at his stick with that long pole.
Number 7, Spencer Tunick, coming around the crease there, passed the ball off, and a goal by Brady Cook.
And now this is what we've grown accustomed to seeing of the Knights. Not just one or two players scoring goals, but multiple players scoring goals, so you can't really depend or defend one player. You have to be worried about everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what is so different about the team that I played on to the team now. There's only one or two guys that were really the guys that were scoring the goals, and now we see multiple goals by Rich, Daneman, and now Cook, and also one by Peyton. Peyton Kimber, with one.
Face off. Still a ball on the ground. And picked up by the Marlins. Oh, and Arvey.
Nice
great save. It was a one-on-one there. Right at the crease, and was able to get the stick up in time.
Another ground ball. Another pickup by the Knights.
Mark's going down the near sideline. Accepting the double team.
Lost the ball. He was showing some nice stick movement for a long pole D.
Marlins.
24, Joe Couture. Josh Courier once again.
Oh, great triple team. Tried to get a shot off. Looked like it deflected off one of the Knights.
That was beautiful defense by the Knights. Giving the Marlins a taste of their own medicine, it looks like.
Yeah, triple team there.
I really like what I'm seeing out of the Knights after the half. Some aggression, some more fire, some more motivation, it looks like. It looks like they changed their defensive scheme a little bit. I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. And they're firing back along with offensively, which is nice.
Well, Daneman's out now with a penalty. So the Knights will be a man down. And they've done a great job tonight killing penalties, not allowing any type of score on their man down.
Josh Courier once again with another fake pass. Pass number 10 for the Marlins. Josh Courier once again with the ball. Fake pass to Tyler Kahn.
Ground ball. Knights need to pick it up. Marlins just a little bit quicker to the ball.
Ground ball. Not sure who has it. Oh, Knights going for it.
Oh, and a huge check there. We got
a player down.
And they have to stop this. Get him checked out. And they're calling a check. Looks like on number 10, an illegal check on number 10, Matt Baldwin, but not the one that knocked down Colin Maxfield.
Who was the night that was checked? Did we see what number he was?
Well, Maxfield was the one that was down on the ground.
Okay.
And he got up and got off the field, but that was a huge check. I don't know how, if it was legal or if the referees
sure
even saw it. But Coach Lamb and the coaching staff on the other side were very upset about that.
It's good to see Maxfield get up and walk that off, though. All right, SVU marching the ball down back to Casey Rich, coming around the crease behind the X. Nice movement.
Oh, and
to Ryan Larson, and it was a nice save by
the goalkeeper there, number 40. Not 40, I'm sorry, it's Burke, 32. And we're seeing some great goalkeeping on both sides now. Just the defense for both teams has just stepped up tremendously. 2 quick goals by each team, but a lot of great defensive plays. So if you're not here at the field tonight and you're just watching it on the YouTube station that we have, I understand that that's a great thing, and we appreciate you watching. But if you're anywhere near the field, you need to come watch this team play. Such excitement to see it in live action. But by all means, don't stop watching. See the Marlins slowing things down, trying to explore the defense of the Knights. Oh, nice great steal there by the Knights. And that's Colin Maxfield, the one that got checked just a few minutes ago. Finds Danneman right in the middle of the field.
Danneman looks like he lost the ball. Ground ball. Marlins are covered, it seems. Ground ball again. And Peyton Kimber on the defense. Nice stick check.
Ball goes out of bounds. Looks like it'll be turned over to the Knights.
Looks like Tyler Kahn's asking where the flag's at. Walking back off the field now.
Oh, and they turned the ball over to the Marlins. Marlins again exploring the defense of the Knights. And the Knights have started to employ some of the tactics that we've seen the Marlins employ. Anytime someone gets toward the middle of the field, we see a double or even triple team if it's Courier. Oh, and a great shot by number 10 of the Marlins, Matt Baldwin. His first of the evening.
So what happened there, Coach? I didn't see they were double teaming him.
They were. He just great shot. Sometimes good offense will always beat good defense. Right? It's just one of those things that you have to chalk up to experience.
It's nice to see that. I mean, the Knights definitely aren't getting discouraged. Only 1 goal down. They've been firing back every single time the Marlins come with one. The Knights get another one. So hopefully we get to see them fire back again if Logan Lund can win this face-off. Ball is still out. And the Marlins recover.
There you see 3 people going toward the ball. And that's what the Marlins have been doing all night long. The Knights taking some of their play and turning it against them.
Nice defensive play by their number 5 for the Knights, Dean Anderson. Once again, the Marlins pick it up, though, with a ground ball and a shot. Nice save by Ian Arvey.
Backed up by the Marlins. So the Knights still on defense. 7:28 left to go in this third quarter. Knights trail by 1. And again, it may come down to one of those games where whoever has the ball last has the chance to win the game.
Josh Courier with the pass.
Oh, and
What
that
a
was
beautiful assist by Josh Courier there.
That was. You saw him bring the whole defense to him. Everybody was looking. No one saw number 40, Roth of the Marlins, sneak in behind, and that one-on-one against Arvey. Arvey just couldn't get the stick down in time. So now the Marlins take a 2-goal lead. But we saw this in the first quarter where the Knights got down by as many as 4 and were able to pull it back by the end of the second quarter. By all means, though, we don't want to see the Knights repeat that. We'd like to see them fire back right now and get a goal.
Logan Lund once again on the face-off. See if he can pull it off. Oh, the Marlins with a nice face-off victory.
Oh, a huge hit.
Check. And the Knights, looks like they retained the ball. They trying to clear it out.
In this game, the physicality of this game has just been raised in the last 2 minutes. Brady Cook bringing the ball down the field.
Number 22, Casey Rich has the ball once again. Trying to move behind the crease, coming back. Looks like he's trying to take a shot and pass it off to number 30, Peyton Kimber. Number 18, Ryan Larson trying to make some room. Trying to put his name on the stat sheet, hopefully.
There's Cook again. Oh, off the pipes. Cook with a great shot. Kimber just couldn't chase it down. The Marlins tried to quickly restart, but the referee steps in and says, "Oh, hang on, young men." Great check by number 10, Ibrahim Kargbo. I love Ibrahim. What a great guy. Comes in and makes a difference right away.
What's really impressing me about the Southern Virginia roster would be all these. We see a ton of transfers from other universities, which was nothing we saw. I think there was one BYU transfer on the team that I played on, so that's definitely a nice. And that's something that Coach Lamb brought to the table when he came to Southern Virginia, was that draw, and was that players wanted to play underneath him because they knew what kind of coach he was.
Ball loose. Tunic's able to pick it up. Plays around. Knights trying to explore the defense of the Marlins. And it's imperative that they get a great shot off on this possession. Danneman able just to be able to take the ball from behind. Again, Tunic has been very quiet. I'd look for him to get into the score sheet.
What a beautiful shot by Casey Rich.
Not to be denied. Took the double team with him, spun back to the middle, shot it right past Burke in goal.
It takes some serious accuracy to pull off a shot like that. To step back and to come back with two defenders on your back and to shoot from your back foot was impressive.
So now the Knights pull within one. As we see again, Lund in the face-off circle against number 14, John Bennett. The first time we've seen him in the face-off circle tonight. Looks like we're going to have a trip. Ball will go over to the Knights. Lund with the ball. And if no one checks him, he can go straight to goal. We've seen him win the face-off and go straight down the field and get a great shot off. Ball back in Cook's stick. Lays it around to Danneman.
I'm loving the ball movement by Southern Virginia.
Mangater now with the ball. Larson with a shot. Skips past the goal, but the Knights are there to back it up.
Casey Rich starting the ball off in the Southern Virginia Knights. He's been playing behind the crease quite a bit tonight.
He likes to be back there. I think it gives him a lot of A lot of room to move around. Plus, he's able to see how the defense is going to react when the ball's in movement.
Nice clear out by the Marlins. Moving downfield. Defenders trying to get in place for Southern Virginia.
Again, a lot of movement by the Marlins. Fortunately, right now we don't see any long poles in there for the Marlins. They have really wreaked havoc. Great save by Arvey. Now if the Knights can clear.
He's got to watch behind him.
Almost dangerous pass. Oh, and if Courier was able to get that in his stick, man, that could have been disaster. Huge check by the Marlins. Courier going to goal. And just a one-on-one with Arvey. There was nothing he could do there.
It's 5 for the night for Courier.
So he's looking at Casey Rich and saying, whatever you can do, I can do better, right? So we're seeing great goals by both supposed stars of each team, but tonight really we've seen great play by just the Knights' whole defense. Arvey's been able to stop a lot of shots on goal. And here we go back to the face-off. Lund and another long pole in there for the Marlins. Number 32 from the Marlins, Justin Burke.
Ground ball recovered by the Marlins. There's a flag out by a ref, probably for tripping. Another flag out by the ref. Marlins marching the ball downfield, but the Knights have good defense set up right now with no Marlins offensive players down there, it seems.
And that's been one of the more impressive things tonight is just the defensive transition by the Knights. They're able to get back and really have not given up any 3-on-1 or 3-on-2 offensive goals.
And like we said, we like what we see with them double or even triple teaming a player for the Marlins. It seemed to be working. We've only seen one goal shot and made when they were playing on that defensive scheme. I think that's something that the Knights need to continue to use. We see Peyton Kimber stalking number 8 of the Marlins, Corey Hillard, who has 1 goal tonight. Trying to make it 2, apparently.
Errant pass. Can the Knights pick up the ball?
It's going to be the Marlins ball with Josh Courier starting off.
Now we're going to see what that flag was for earlier on in the play. See the referee marching down to pick up the little hanky that he threw on the ground. Looks like the Knights may be a man down or 2 men down now.
With
that would
Logan, Lund, and Casey Rich both out. 2 key players for the Knights team tonight.
Yeah, they got Lund on an illegal body check. 2 minutes. We'll see what the penalty is on Casey Rich. But a 2-minute penalty, that is disastrous for the Knights.
Especially since Logan Lund is their primary face-off.
And
Rich
Rich
won all their face-offs.
Yeah, Rich got a 1-minute unsportsmanlike conduct. So now the Knights 2 men down. But we've seen them kill this penalty before.
Nice save by Ian RV. Another shot by Josh Curran. Another save by RV. Ground ball.
On a little
out of bounds.
Flip over. Ball remains with
RV's got to get back to the goal.
But RV's just standing on his head there in the crease now. Oh!
Another save by
Point
RV.
blank shot, and RV is there. Oh, and they're going to call a penalty on RV, saying that he was
I'm not even sure
in
what the,
his shooting
what the
space.
call was.
I
on.
don't either.
It looked like number 10 for the what is that? Number 15 for the Marlins was a crease violation, but Apparently,
Harvey again with another save. That's 4 saves in a row right on his doorstep. Harvey clears it deep. Again, trying to kill the penalty. What we see with Rich being out for a minute and Lund being out for 2. Oh, and that time, just the transition, not able to get back in time, as we see number 15 of the Marlins, who is John
Colwell,
get the score. So now the Knights down 3.
And we've seen this before.
We've seen it before.
This night.
Oh, this is the first time we're going to see someone new in the face-off circle, as Lund still serving his time on his 2-minute penalty. That's number 2, Seth Brown.
A freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina. 6 foot, 160 pounds. Let's see what he can do.
Ball's on the ground.
Ball is still on the ground, and the Knights recover the ground ball. Once again, there's 3 defenders all on that one player.
Stick check, though. Marks lost it. Goes over to the Marlins, and there's that man, Courier, who not only scores goals, but he's been on several assists, and you just have to be aware of where he is all the time.
Nice stick check by the Knights on Courier. Yep. And RV has to be kind of nervous right now.
Yeah.
I think that was 5 shots within a minute, 2 minutes.
But he has to have some relief, though, that knowing that he stopped 4 in a row from point blank. And that may come from having to face teams like Salisbury, who's now ranked number 1 in the nation.
RV on the ground needs to get back up in the goal, and a shot made by the Marlins with no
And RV's
goalie.
complaining, saying that someone was in the crease. But the referees aren't going to call it. So the goal's good. And with 21 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the Marlins now enjoy a 4-goal lead. That's been the largest lead that they've enjoyed all night long. Lund back into the face-off circle and trying to restore order now for the Knights. The Knights cannot afford to give up another goal in this last 21 seconds and need to get some type of shot off that's a good shot in order to try to get some momentum for themselves going back into the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. We see Logan Lund loses the face-off. We don't see that very often. The Marlins come in hot, and they shot high and a miss. RV's still apparently frustrated as he should be. It looked like somebody had a crease violation.
Harvey with a great save. 5 seconds left.
Trying to work the clear, trying to waste the clock. And time's up for the third.
So going into the fourth quarter, the Knights find themselves down by 4. They were down by 4 after the first quarter. Were able to come back and score 5 successive goals to the Marlins' 1 goal to get it tied up. I'm sure they don't want to tie now. I think they want to try to go ahead and get the lead.
Absolutely. And we know that no lacrosse team can end in a tie. There's got to be a winner, and there's got to be a loser. Coach Lamb probably has the words that his players need to hear right now. You can see that he's not too frustrated, he's not angry, but he's talking to his players, letting them know, hey, we can do this. We can come back and we can rally. And the Marlins coach is probably telling his players, we need to keep this lead, we need to build upon this lead. 2 different mindsets for 2 different teams, but we'll see what can happen.
Well, the Knights have had great success coming back in the fourth quarters. I don't know if you want to build a program off of that, but we'll take it now if they can come back and tie the game up and get it to overtime, or even better yet, win it in regulation.
Absolutely. And once again, I have to add again my admiration for this Knights lacrosse team. They have come so far from where they were just 2-3 years ago. It's just so impressive to see that. Just the size alone of this team, and to see the teamwork, the ball movement, the defensive, offensive schemes that Coach Lamb has implemented and his players overall. And the thing that I really like about Coach Lamb since being back in Southern Virginia myself is so many people have talked about his high moral standards for his players, wanting them to know that first and foremost, being a good person and being a leader serving Knight, that comes above everything.
Well, recapping the goal scorers for the Marlins, John Roth with 2, Ben Fletcher with 1, John Colwell with 1, Tyler Kahn with 3, which was very impressive because he's the long stick, Matt Baldwin with 1, Corey Hilliard with 1, and Josh Courier with 5. For the Knights, Brady Cook with 1, Zach Danneman with 3, Peyton Kimber with 1, and Casey Rich with 5. And those young men are going to have to really crank it up now in this final quarter in order to bring the Knights back. And the defense is going to have to be a little bit more stout.
Absolutely. Then they're going to have to avoid those penalties. They cannot afford anybody off the field at this time. There's no way they could afford a man down or 2-man down offense or defense. So we'll see what happens.
I agree with you 100%. They cannot let their emotions get in the way of their execution right now.
And we've seen the past couple of weeks where this has been the story for the Knights, where they've been behind and they've come back and either won or been close to winning. So they know that they can do this. It's just rallying around their players, around their schemes, and getting to work.
So Lund back in the faceoff circle against number 3, Duncan Haight. Lund trying to win the faceoff. Ball still on the ground.
Recovered by the Knights, but
they're going to turn it over, it looks like, to the Marlins. Oh, and we got a flag.
All over the place.
And this is what we talked about. You could not lose control of your emotions.
Do we know what the call is for?
Not yet. We'll find out as soon as our stats people receive word from the referee of what's going on.
I'm not sure if I didn't see anything that the ref could have called. I'm not sure if the camera's panned near that
it may have been out of our view, and if it was something out of our view, that is really, again, something that you cannot let your emotions get the best of you.
Sean Takala looks like he's
out. So now the Knights down a man.
The Knights need to get this ball back as soon as they can.
Errant pass. Looks like it's going to be turned over to the Knights. And again, the Knights dodge a bullet there, being a man down.
Looks like Sean Takala got called for a delay of game. Luckily, he's only out for 30 seconds. But this is an extra man opportunity for the Marlins that we know that they're going to try to take advantage of. Number 16, Danneman, and a trip, but no flag.
And the Knights are able to clear. And we've seen the Knights have some problems clearing the ball tonight. Hopefully they've found a way to rectify that problem in this final quarter. Peyton Kimber moving to the middle of the field, but headed off by the Marlins defense. Mike Bangeter now just comes in, has the ball in his stick.
Nice movement by Bangeter. Trying to look for a pass.
Oh,
nice save by the Marlin goalie. So close for number 7, Spencer Tunick.
And John Roth is back in goal now.
Another ground ball by Danneman. See if he can get a goal off. And he does. Nope, they didn't call it. It was a save by Marlin.
Another goalkeeper in. It's Chris Teague. Sorry, he's been the goalkeeper this whole second half. The ball's on the ground.
Ball's up. Once again, the Knights cannot gain control of those ground balls. And there he goes to the Marlins.
Oh, and
nice
Kahn
stick check
by Brady Cook. That was excellent.
But once again, the Marlins come away with the ground ball. They have to capitalize on those. Josh Courier with the ball.
And if you're the Knights, that's not the person you want to see with the ball.
It is not. They're trying to get stick checks. They need to. Looks like they're trying to do one-on-one D with Josh Courier, which doesn't seem to be working in the past. So we'll see what the Knights can pull together. The Marlins trying to burn down the clock a little bit, taking their time with the ball on the offensive side.
Right now it looks like they may have Syrian Giroux on Courier, a long stick, and a very athletic young man.
See, number 40 for the Marlins, John Roth with 2 goals tonight has the ball.
Oh, and a great stick check there.
The Knights recover the ground ball. Once again, number 28, Mike Anderson.
Anderson quickly down the field. Doesn't want to allow any type of double team to come get him. The Marlins get back on defense.
Number 30,
Peyton.
Peyton Kimber.
Oh, Kimber finds. Oh, Tunican was all alone out in front. Just couldn't handle the pass. Errant pass. Arby's able to pick it up.
Clearing out again. Looks like the Marlins player threw his stick into there, which I haven't seen too much of that in my days of lacrosse.
Now we're going to have a penalty now. So the Knights will have the penalty on their side.
Number 16, Daneman with the ball. Now 18 to Larson. Looks like Larson's winding up, trying to get working around the crease. Back to Peyton Kimber, and looks like a trip, but no flag again.
Oh, and someone's down on the ground. Larson getting up slowly. And again, we've talked about the physicality of this game. This has been one of the most physical lacrosse games that we've had all year long. We'll see what that flag was earlier on in the possession.
Looked like it might have been on one of the Knights players, which we don't want to see. Like we said, we don't want to see that man-down opportunity.
A lot of discussion here by the referees, wanting to make sure they get the call right. But in the last possession that the Marlins had, it looked like they were trying to slow their attack down some and burn some clock, which, sometimes backfires if you try to play in a way that you're not used to playing.
Absolutely. And this is interesting because the Marlins, I think, I'm not sure where their ranking is. I know they're not high up in the conference by any means. And you figure they would want to build on the lead that they now have. But, yeah, wasting time on that clock doesn't seem like it would be the greatest idea as of right now. Seeing the Knights have already come back once tonight. I'm not sure what the call was on.
We'll get in a few seconds from our stats personnel who do a great job in trying to keep us informed of everything that goes on. Needless to say, the Marlins are a man down now. The Knights need to take advantage of this. And we have a unsportsmanlike conduct 1-minute penalty on Matt Baldwin of the Marlins. Ball's picked up by Kahn. Played over to Teague.
Looked like that could have been a nice check by Tunic.
Knights trying to impede the clearing.
That was a deep clear, picked up by Josh Courier, which you don't want to see.
Yeah, and Courier's just been all over the place, and anytime the ball's near him on the ground, he's been able to come up with it.
Once again, it looks taking their time, not as aggressive as we've seen in the last 3 quarters of this game. Trying to set up the screen there, number 13, Tyler Kahn. Yeah, they're taking a lot of time.
And I don't know if this is, with 10 minutes left to go, if you want to really start stalling right now.
What a move by number 36 of the Knights. That'd be Derek Marks.
So the strategy of maybe trying to be a little bit more possessive of the ball, starting to backfire on the Marlins. The Knights now just have to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. That's what we see. They're working better with the clearing, getting the ball down the field. The defense is keeping up in this quarter so far, but the offense, it looks like, needs to step up just a little bit.
Brady Cook with the ball and going to try to rectify that to Peyton Kimber. Straight
goal by Peyton Kimber.
Straight ahead of the goal, able to whip it by a Teague. And the Knights cut into that lead and bring the deficit to 3 now.
Coach, what do you think was different about that ball movement as opposed to what we've seen this quarter so far?
Well, it looked like Brady Cook took the ball down the far sideline and drug a lot of the defenders with him. And Peyton just kind of eased his way into an area where there was nobody. Brady put the pass right on point to where all Peyton had to do was just catch and fire. And that's what the Knights have been doing in their past games in order to win them. Face-off won by the Marlins now.
Number 3, that's Duncan Height. Nice stick checks by number 11 of the Knights. And that is not what we wanted to see. Number 13, Tyler Kahn, again with a goal with that long pole.
Well, the Knights were paying so much attention to Courier. He drew 2 on the double team, and then Kahn comes through with his stick high in the air. Courier just puts it right on point. So now the lead goes back to 4 with 9:18 left to go in this fourth and final quarter. Logan Lund in the face-off circle for the Knights.
We've got to see the Knights play with a sense of urgency now with 9 minutes and 18 seconds left on the clock in the fourth. They've got to, it's simple as that. They have to play with some urgency and play with some vigor and have good ball movement.
Ball's picked up by number 3, Duncan Haight.
And once again, this is something we know the Knights are capable of. We know this lacrosse team is a good team. We know that they play well. They just need to put all their practice and all their coaching into play.
Well, they also need to take advantage of some of the mistakes that the Marlins may make down this last 8:45. So far, they've only been able to take advantage of one mistake in this quarter, and we saw the Marlins make several so far. It's just the execution needs to pick up just a little bit.
And I would definitely agree with that, Coach. Once again, we see here the Marlins not in any urgency to score another goal. Of course, seeking for one, but taking their time. Josh Courier once again with the ball. Josh doesn't ever seem to be slowing down when he has the ball.
No, and
another goal by Josh Courier.
Just a hard skip shot from his left to right there. And like you said, he doesn't seem to be slowing down. The Energizer Bunny.
That's 6 for the night for Josh Courier. Number 27 of the Marlins.
And so now the lead increases to 5.
Josh, yeah, like you said, is a senior.
So we won't be seeing him next year.
Hopefully not.
Which is good.
Unless he's got another year of eligibility that is hiding somewhere, which we don't want to see. So.
Well, and it's good. And we're glad he's not in our conference, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there are plenty of great lacrosse players in the Capital Athletic Conference. CIC being one of the premier lacrosse conferences in the United States.
Now the Knights have got to capitalize on this ground ball and on that face-off. Peyton Kimber with the ball now. Once again, we have to see him play with a sense of urgency and knowing what they want. Tunick with the ball. Nice moves.
On the spacing of the Knights, I know that there's several differences in different sports, but the spacing of the Knights that time seemed to be really grouped and packed together. And when we saw Peyton score on his goal just a few seconds ago, the Knights had really good spacing. There's number 32, Justin Burke, down the field. Oh, and a jump fake shot by Courier, and then a shot wide to the right of the goal.
And the Marlins have the ball back in their possession. Number 17 right now, Trenton Gam, to number 14, John Bennett.
Well, we know that a 5-goal lead is not insurmountable, but now the clock is really starting to play into the hands of the Marlins and be their friend. So the Knights have to, like you said, play with a little bit more urgency. Maybe after it gets down to the 5-minute mark, we just send more double teams on the ball.
I would agree with that. I think a big part right now is the defense for the Knights needs to. I think that was working for them when they were playing 2 or 3 men on one player. That seemed to be working with them. The Marlins didn't seem to know what to do with that. It seems like the Knights defense is kind of playing a little bit more conservatively right now, having a couple of middies on the field with them, with their D-Pauls.
And it doesn't look like the Marlins are in any hurry to really attack. I'm wondering when the stall call might be coming.
Lost the ball. Hopefully the Knights can capitalize on once again a ground ball, and they do, and lose the ball, and the Marlins recover once again.
And those are just opportunities missed by the Knights.
Exactly, and that's what, just like you say, Coach, those missed opportunities are what's going to cost. Hopefully not, but could cost this game for the Knights. We see that in all sports, not just lacrosse, of course.
And I don't want anybody out there listening thinking that we're being very judgmental and critical of this lacrosse team. It's just expectations now has been raised by their play of late, and we're with those same expectations. We understand, very young team. They've done a fabulous job this year, and in this game has played really well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to give any indication that we're doing that. We know what this Knights team, Josh Curry with the ball and missed shot, we know what this Knights team is capable of. This is a team that Southern Virginia University is extremely proud of, extremely excited to see to play, and we want to see them win because we know they can do it. But we just have to point out what we see, and that is one thing that we're not seeing is those missed opportunities, and there's a flag out by the ref.
And you see the Virginia Wesleyan coach over on the sidelines holding his arms out. That's the universal sign of hold the ball. It doesn't matter what sport you're in. That's the universal sign for hold the ball.
Absolutely. The Knights playing a little bit tighter defense, which I like to see. Nice move there by the Marlins. Fake pass.
And when people such as us, commentators or fans, can start to find little things wrong with the team, the team's starting to arrive.
Oh, absolutely. Nice check there by number 40 of the Knights. That is Colin Maxfield. One that was checked earlier tonight.
Yeah,
he's in the favor.
He's trying to lay some wood on somebody now to get a little payback.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right about the little things. Like I said, when I played here for Southern Virginia University, you could have nitpicked everything about our team, and I would have been totally okay with that. But it looks like there was a...
Yeah, they're checking out what the foul was now. Coach Lamb cannot believe it. Spencer Tunic's out. And Knights will be a man down now with 4:19. The clock is really starting to get against them.
Absolutely. But I have to say, once again, I agree with you, Coach, how impressed we are just by this team. Just by tonight coming back from a deficit one time already in this game and coming back with multiple goals, firing back. This has been an offensive game, which we like to see. And so we just hope to see them shut down on defense and perform a little bit more on offense.
So now a man down. The Knights are going to have to try to kill this penalty without giving up another goal in the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And not only not give up a goal, but have a great offensive transition and score a goal quickly so they can get back to that face-off. So now you see the Knights, and this is a hard situation on the defense. You want to press up on people, but being a man down, someone's going to be open. And the way that we've seen Courier be able to handle the stick and the ball tonight, there's not a lot you can do to get it out of his hands. But again, no real attack on goal. I would really like to see the referees have the stall call right now and turn the shot clock on.
Absolutely. I would agree with that call completely. Another fake pass. You can see that he is just completely wasting the clock right now, which is obviously the right thing to do in this situation, but the refs do need to call something here because there's no attempt to make a goal. And there it is, I believe.
It's timeout now, called by Virginia Wesleyan. To talk over strategy for this last 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Well, it's not out of the realm that the Knights can come back. We've seen the Knights be able to score multiple goals in 2 or 3 minutes. Their job just has become a whole lot harder now.
Absolutely. And that's what we talked about, was capitalizing on those opportunities, playing with a sense of urgency. And these Knights, this team is more than capable of coming back and winning this game, or at least tying him. I think that's what Coach Lane was probably going to talk to his players about right now, is bringing this game into overtime. That would probably be my mindset as a coach right now, but we'll see what happens.
Well, stay with us for the exciting conclusion of this game. Last 3 minutes and 6 seconds. We'll be right back. And we're back after the timeout. And again, the Wesleyan Marlins, Virginia Wesleyan Marlins, just trying to hang on to the ball and eat up a lot of clock. The Knights a man down still, just doing everything they can to not let another goal be scored and try to kill this penalty.
Absolutely. And something that I would personally like to see is make sure that the penalties are called on the right plays. I think that's something that we were just talking about, where a lot of penalties haven't been called, which we would like to see. Where there have been trippings and everything, and the Knights just haven't gotten the call, which has been extremely unfortunate for them.
I saw the penalty released, and Courier, wide open goal, didn't even take the shot, wants to keep the clock
And
running.
he took the shot.
And there's the shot.
17-11. That was an interesting play. I'm not sure if that was interesting. I guess you want to waste a couple extra seconds and get a more difficult shot off. I don't really understand the logic behind that, but
Well, and in our last game, we saw Casey Rich pull off an almost improbable shot from midfield to tie the game up. I'm sure they saw that and have scouted that out and don't want to give any extra seconds to the Knights in this game. Lund back in the face-off circle. Ball's on the ground. Picked up by Lund now. And now the Knights really have to attack and attack quickly.
absolutely. Absolutely. They don't have any time to waste. They move the ball efficiently, and there's a
Timeout now by Coach Lamb. Wanting to let his kids know, I'm sure, something to this effect of, guys, we need to score quickly and we need to win face-offs.
Absolutely. I would love to be on the sideline right now and to hear what Coach Lane would have to tell his players.
Well, that might be something we can look into in the future, to have a sideline reporter. Our producer, Craig Reese, is just glaring at me now. I didn't say this year or next year, Craig.
Eventually, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
When you have your stadium built and you have your own little room to have the electronics and all, that might be something that Craig can pull off, because I've seen him pull off a lot of things.
He let me on, which is a miracle in itself, so that's super nice.
So 2:06 left to go in the game. The Knights down by 6. Not impossible. We've seen the Knights be able to score 3 or 4 goals inside of a minute. It's going to take that type of intensity now to come back. Face-offs are going to be important, and being able to score quickly is going to be majorly important. And then if they do give up the ball, what would you suggest that the defense does?
I think they're, and like I said, I'm trying to avoid all criticism because I have no room to talk on this aspect at all. But they need to play. It looks like they're playing extremely conservatively these last couple of minutes in this last quarter. And I think they have nothing to lose at this point except for obviously the game, and they need to play more aggressively, maybe 2-on-3 once again. And they need to watch Josh Courier and Tyler Kahn very closely, being those two main scorers. And I think they could have a better shot at this.
I think they wanted to play a little bit conservatively, being a man down. You know, Courier had a wide open shot at the goal and then circled out to take a harder shot. But you're right. Even strength, the Knights need to really try to go and double team a few people.
Well, absolutely. Like I said, they're not going to lose anything by playing any more aggressively. They're down 6 right now, and the ball is
wide
back
pass.
to the Marlins.
Yeah, just not able to make the connection on the pass.
They're more than able to at least make this lead a little bit closer.
Oh, and Arvey's able to step out and take that long pass away. Tried to play it ahead to Bangerter, just couldn't make the connection.
And there he goes back to the goalie, trying to clear out.
Danneman up there.
Danneman. Knights recover. Oh, drops the ball for a ground ball. Once again, recovered by the Knights. Back to Peyton and back on the sidelines, out of bounds. Marlins will have the ball.
And if you're the Knights, you've got to make sure that your passes are on point right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't afford to keep on turning the ball over.
And that's what we talked about with efficient ball movement. That was one thing when I played that our coaches talked about.
Oh, and
another goal by number 10, it looked like, for the Marlins, who is Matt Baldwin, his second of the night. And I think this is all about seal the deal, unfortunately, for the Marlins.
Yeah, the Knights were trying to get out and mark everybody up and double team. Unfortunately, we saw the ball bounce, and the Knights just weren't able to win the ball in the air that time and gave up that open goal. You can't fault them, though. They're doing the things of trying to get the ball back.
Absolutely. I think we have to commend our players. We have to commend the Knights tonight for what has been a physical, what has been a fun game to watch. And like I said, they have come so far from when this program started. Marlins recover the face-off. Hopefully they don't get another shot off on this team. But we just want to say how much we appreciate our players and the hard work they put in tonight. And I appreciate Coach Lamb for all his hard work with this team. The goalie is out of the playing man down a little bit.
Yeah. And we got to mention his staff, too. Coach Winterton and Coach Hand just do a fantastic job in trying to prepare these young men for these tough games that they have, especially coming up. You have Christopher Newport. Oh, and a hard check.
Flags all over the place. This, of course, that needed to be called, of course. But I wish we would have saw these flags when the Marlins were several legal trips were made. I don't announce for the Marlins, so I can say those things. But those flags have all really been against the Knights mostly tonight.
And one of the old sayings is the referees usually see the second thing that happens. It's never the first thing that happens. At least in basketball, it was never. The instigator was never the one charged with the foul. And it looks like for the most part, there have been some that we clearly saw on the Knights. But there's been some that the instigator wasn't caught. And the Knights in retaliation was the ones that got caught.
Like I said, the Marlins don't pay me. So, another shot made by the Marlins. Courier. Was that Josh Courier again? His 8th of the night. And that sealed the deal for the Marlins tonight.
Now we got a little bit of chippiness going on. A little talking back and forth. And this is where the Knights and the Marlins need to understand it's a game. And the game's a little bit out of hand now. Just finish the game off in sportsmanlike fashion.
Absolutely.
Learn from what's gone on in this game and move on to the next game.
Absolutely. You never want to see a game end in unsportsmanlike conduct because, like you said, both these teams have put a lot of hard work, a lot of hard practice, coaching, sportsmanship into their play, and we want to see it end that way. Especially for our Knights. We know that we know what they're all about, so we appreciate them.
See Syrian Giroux taking the ball down. Lays it off to Rich.
I would like to see Rich get one more off for the night. High shot taken.
Yeah, Peyton Kimber just wound up and rocketed the ball across there. 12 seconds left to go in this game.
ball lost. Ground ball picked up by number 33 of the Marlins. Cleared out all the way down by the field. Marlins recover the ball. And that'll do it for us.
So, at the end of the game, the Virginia Wesleyan College Marlins 19, the Southern Virginia Knights 11. Jamie, what can you take away from this game?
I think we can take away from this game one thing that comes to mind immediately is the fact that the Knights are more than able to come back from a deficit. They did it one time in this game. We saw efficient ball movement. We saw efficient teamwork. This Knights team is a good lacrosse team, and they are more than capable of winning these games. I would say the one thing probably, the one thing that I would say would probably be tighter defensive play with the clock winding down would be the only critique I would see. But, I mean, this was a great game with a lot of physicality.
Well, the flag after the game, some unsportsmanlike conduct going on. There'll be penalties going into the next game. But the Knights have a tough road ahead now as we see both the coaches starting to get a little bit riled up at each other. Let's talk a little bit about the games coming up, though, and let the referees sort that out. On Saturday, the Knights have Christopher Newport, and then next week they go to Frostburg State and to York. York going into today tied for 4th in the nation. A lot of tough games for the Knights. Right now they sit at number 5 in the CAC, which would qualify them for the tournament. They're just going to have to do some extraordinary work in their next 3 games to make sure they stay there.
Absolutely. I think, like we've talked about, this Knights team is more than able to do that, and we would love to see nothing more than that happen. Once again, I want to say good job to these players, good job to these coaches. Of course, there's work that has to be done, but once again, they've come such a long way. And as Southern Virginia University Knight myself, I'm more than proud of this lacrosse team and grateful for what they've done tonight.
Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight. To ask you to please join us again on Friday, a doubleheader with the Knights softball team, and then on Saturday, a men's and women's lacrosse game at 1 and 3. This is Mike Harmon for Jamie Kane, for Craig Reese, our producer, and our cameraman. We thank you, and join us again.